Welcome to this little screencast. In this screencast I want to explain to you the snapshot concept of 7OS Neptune. And yeah, first of all, let's start with this graphical desktop, as you can see here. So you might know that 7OS Neptune is a distribution that's especially created for live USB sticks, or to run from live USB sticks. So I have now a desktop running off a live USB stick, and you may know that there are many different people who want to create their own distribution out of the box, but this is a little bit complicated, as you need, for a live system at least, to extract the ISO first, then you have to extract the SquashFS live system file, then you have to make your changes, not graphically, you need to do it by hand, by console, by terminal commands and so on, and then you need to repack the SquashFS, and then you need to rebuild the ISO and then test the ISO if it works or not. So 7OS Neptune has a nice little option which allows you to do partial remaster very easily. This is based on the persistent images or persistent creator stuff that we also include into 7OS Neptune. So let's pretend we now have our live system here and we want to change some things for special customer or for students, for pupils, whatever. So we want to customize our desktop just the way we like it, and then we want to share this customization with others. So let me first try with customization here. I will put my panel on the left here, make it a little bit bigger, for example. This big is good, I think. Let me put these icons on the right and change the wallpaper to something more fancy, like, for example, this one here. This fits good. And yeah, I can also install some applications. Let's open Synaptic here, and let's pretend that I want to install burning application, like for example Brasero, because I don't like K3B or whatever. I can just mark it for the installation, hit apply, install it, and yeah, just like a normal live system, or just like a normal system that I have installed on my hard disk, I can install some applications. And I'm not only restricted to the KDE desktop. If I want to install, for example, the LXDE desktop, I can do so just by typing LXDE here, just like installing some other packages. Installing LXDE as the desktop, for example, or some other stuff as the desktop, setting it as a main desktop, and making all those changes just like the way I want it to do. So now, what to do? Let's first open up the website where you can find more information about snapshots, the 7os.com/forum, and then you can go into the snapshot subdirectory here. Click on the FAQ, and here you get some information about what snapshots are. So basically, snapshots are nothing else than all your changes that you made on your live system will be stored normally and temporarily on your RAM, so that all the changes are only temporary. So if you shut down your PC, power off, the RAM gets deleted basically, so there's nothing in there. So what we will do with snapshots is grab all the stuff that we put into the RAM, so all our changes that we did to our live system, and then stuck it up onto our USB stick. So how do we do this? So this is very easily done by opening up just a terminal, typing in snapshot, and this will just save all our changes that we did in one little file called live-sn.squashfs on our USB stick's root directory. So as you can see here, the progress bar, if you're running it from the terminal, which tells you how far it is now with creating this file. So every setting will be stored in this virtual image, and it will be compressed, of course, as well, so that you can, for example, with 500 megabytes changes, you only will get about 80 megabytes in this compressed image file. As you can see here, we have now about 111.40 megabytes saved in this file. This is because I installed Brasero, which pulls a lot of dependencies as well. And I've changed, of course, my wallpaper and my panel here. And if I've installed LXD or something else, the size would be a little bit higher. But this will basically create on my USB flash drive a file called, there it is, live-sn.squashfs, as you can see here. So what to do now with this live-sn squashfs? If you just simply reboot and start up from USB stick, it won't get recognized your changes. So what you need to do is edit the boot menu, so the syslinux cfg file. So you just need to go here to the end of the first boot entry, of the Neptune boot entry, and just add persistent here. Persistent. Save it, and then just restart it. And if you choose the first boot item, then it will load with all your changes. So the desktop, just like I'll have it right now here. So this is particularly fine. This works just like the persistent image, doesn't it? Not exactly, because when loading the persistent image, it will constantly write to your USB stick and would constantly mount this persistent image and write constantly to it. With this squashfs live snapshotting, it will only on the first boot read all your changes that you made and put it to your RAM again. And when you're done with your session and shut down your computer, all your changes that you made that are in the RAM will be put together back into the live-sn.squashfs file. So if you don't want this behavior, so that every time you shut down, all your changes will be saved again into this file, because you only want a file from our forum, for example, a snapshot file that we have here, for example, the LXD snapshot, which is a big one, around 170 megabytes. You will just simply download this squashfs file, save it to your disk, and then you have it here, for example, live-n squashfs, live-n live-sn xmess.squashfs or whatever. You can then just simply copy this file over to your live directory. So I will do this. Copy it over here. And what I now need to do is create a file called filesystem.module. And in this filesystem.module, as you can see here, I now have one of those files. You will put in, first of all, your live system that should be loaded as a base system, because your live-n snapshot file basically only consists of changes that you did to your live system. So you need to load the live system first before the changes can be made on the live system. So the live system is stored in the filesystem.squashfs in the live directory of your USB stick. As you can see here, it's the filesystem.squashfs. It's 1.4 gigabytes big, so it has a little bit size, as you can see here. And yeah, this is basically the first that needs to be loaded. And the next one is, of course, your live snapshot. So you put in here live-sn.squashfs and saves the file, of course, and then you can reboot, and without adding the persistent option to the syslinux.cfg file, you can then load your personal system with the snapshot, or your system that you downloaded, the LXD snapshot, for example, and try it. For advanced users, you will also notice that there are some other files like icevm-7 .module. So you have also the possibility in the bootloader to change the bootloader code to just adding the parameter module equals ice VM minus win7, for example, so you don't have to put the .module, and then instead of reading the file system.module file for loading the live system, it will read from the ice VM minus win7 file. And as you can see in this file, there we have the same file system.squashfs file, because the base live system for the basis for our live system, and then the snapshot file, in this case the icevm minus win7 squashfs files. So this allows you also to use all of our snapshots that we have here and to load all of them in different boot entries in your syslinux.cfg file. And of course, this is very, very useful if you want to create a new Linux distribution or a partially remastered 7OS Neptune based distribution. For example, you see we have an awesome VM snapshot, an LXDE snapshot here, an IceVM snapshot, and KDE3 snapshot. If you want to create an XFCE snapshot, because we don't have an XFCE desktop, damn, we shitty damn users, we didn't create shitty damn developers, we didn't create a new or another version of 7OS Neptune with the XFCE desktop, and you like the XFCE desktop, you can install it just right from the KDE or GNOME version, and then just put it into the snapshot file, load it here in our forum to share it, and then all the other people can contribute, and not only contribute, but can also use your XFCE file, your XFCE snapshot, if they want. And the interesting part is, if you have one of those snapshots file, for example the LXDE or the XFCE snapshot file, you're running with your XFCE or LXDE server, and you want to install now your system, you can just hit the install Neptune button here, the desktop icon, and then it will install not only the KDE base live system, but also your snapshot files, so that you can have now your favorite LXDE or XFCE desktop. And the interesting part, of course, if you're running low on hard disk space, you can also remove all the KDE dependencies or the KDE stuff if you installed your system. But for the live system, it's a little bit too complicated, because then you need, for deleting the KDE stuff, you need to just repackage the file system squashfs, which is a little bit complicated in this case because it's a little bit big. So yeah, this is basically everything for this screencast. I hope you have understand what I try to told you. So it's very interesting to create those snapshotting files, because it's in partial remaster very, very easily on a graphical environment. You can use your Synaptic, you can use your graphical tools to change your settings, to change your behavior, and so on. And I think this is a great and nice technology that we have included here into 7OS Neptune, which is included, by the way, also in Debian and Ubuntu in a way, but they aren't really working with it, I guess. So we are the first ones who are actively supporting those technologies, and I think you should start experimenting with it. You should first of all go to our forum in the FAQ section, and then read about how to create those snapshot files, how to use them without persistency mode if you want to use them, and yeah, test some out. If you want to make some changes, if you have nice new ideas, for example in Apache server completely, if you start up your live system, it will automatically start the Apache server with your services and so on. This could be nice as a snapshot, or the XFCE snapshot, as I said before, or other nice little things, tweaks. For example, an audio specialist want to have the Jack audio server with all the cool stuff in it, and he can package this, of course, as well in it. And yeah, this is basically everything for this screencast. I hope you enjoyed this screencast, and thanks for watching, and until the next time.